A man takes off his shirt and lies curiously in a chair as a miniature grinding wheel is inserted into his mouth, quickly grinding all his teeth flat, and his fingerprints are individually removed by laser. Following that, a scorching hot golden solution is used to mark an extremely bold symbol on his chest, officially inducting the man into the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle is the world's largest drug trafficking cartel, and in order to expand its market further, Poppy must eliminate the ace agent blocking her path. Later that evening, the agent Eggsy had just stepped out of the door when he was immediately ambushed at gunpoint by Poppy's henchman Charlie. As an ace agent, Eggsy quickly finds an opportunity to fight back. He instructs the driver to initiate an emergency evacuation, engaging in intense combat with the enemies inside the vehicle. Despite Eggsy's extensive training, his opponent's mechanical arm renders him nearly invincible, deflecting bullets and overpowering him. Eggsy can only seize the opportunity to strike with a surprise attack. Before Eggsy can catch his breath, the enemy vehicle charges directly at them. Seeing the oncoming vehicle, Eggsy leaps high into the air, narrowly landing on the roof of the car to escape the collision. In the ensuing fight, Eggsy reveals the weapon hidden in his shoe, but to his surprise, the opponent easily dodges it. He breaks the sharpened blade, plunging it into the driver's neck, where the deadly poison spreads, causing instant death. Just as the car is about to collide, Eggsy reacts quickly, securing himself in place as the massive inertia flings Charlie out of the vehicle. Thinking everything is over, the next moment, 3 enemy vehicles appear, closely pursuing Eggsy. He activates the drift mode, swiftly transforming the dilapidated car's appearance. In an attempt to stop Eggsy from escaping, the enemies behind them mount a Gatling gun and start firing wildly at the car. Eggsy uses all his skills to evade the bullets, stepping on the accelerator trying to shake off the pursuers, in a life-and-death race through the streets of London. But ultimately, the car's tires are blown out by bullets, causing it to lose control and crash through the park gates, struggling to drive onto a grassy lawn. With approval from his superior Merlin, Eggsy finally launches a counterattack. Under Merlin's guidance, Eggsy drives the car straight into the lake, disappearing without a trace before the police can find him. The car underwater undergoes another transformation, smoothly carrying Eggsy to a safe house. However, what they didn't expect was that the mechanical arm left in the car came to life under the remote control of the enemy, easily accessing the data center through the car's communication interface. It effortlessly steals all the information of the ace agent. The following night, utilizing the stolen information, Poppy launches airstrikes on every facility of the ace agents, with 12 missiles consecutively hitting accurately, wiping out the agents in an instant. To reward Charlie's outstanding performance, Poppy has a new arm manufactured for him, with even more terrifying capabilities than before. On the other side, Eggsy narrowly escapes the airstrikes due to being out on a date. As he looks at the ruins of the base before him, he can hardly believe his eyes. Shortly after, Merlin appears in the ruins as well. It seems that only the 2 of them are left in the entire organization, and the only clue they have is a broken arm. To uncover the mastermind behind the airstrikes, the 2 of them find a hidden winery based on the address in the emergency manual. Using the ace agent's badge, they open the safe left by the founder. But when Merlin looks into the safe, what he finds inside shocks him. It turns out the safe only contains a bottle of old wine, leaving them puzzled and disappointed. They can only toast to their fallen comrades in remembrance. However, as they finish the bottle, a string of text on the bottle catches Eggsy's attention. Following the address on the bottle, they rush to a distillery, using the watch's black mirror to open the warehouse door. According to the scan, there's a massive underground facility beneath the cellar. Just as they prepare to find the entrance, Tequila suddenly appears from behind, and conflict ensues. Tequila is skilled and swift, knocking Merlin down first. Although Eggsy struggles fiercely, he too succumbs, getting hit by the flying needles from the watch and quickly passing out. When they wake up again, they find themselves tightly bound, with Tequila pouring liquor on them and lighting a lighter to interrogate them about their intentions. Unexpectedly, the 2 remain steadfast and unmoved, until Tequila brings out his trump card. Harry Hart, who was presumed dead in the first installment, appears alive and well before them. Tequila aims his gun at Harry Hart and Eggsy, causing both of them to shout in excitement. Just as Tequila is about to pull the trigger, Ginger intervenes, revealing that all of this was a test to see if they would betray the organization. A year ago, Harry Hart suffered a devastating headshot and collapsed, critically wounded. However, shortly after, Ginger and Tequila rushed to the scene and temporarily saved his life using their advanced gel technology. They then used nanobots to repair the damaged brain tissue, finally bringing Harry Hart back from the brink of death. But due to severe trauma, Harry Hart has lost all his memories. The next day, Eggsy follows Tequila to the headquarters and meets Champ, the organization's leader. It turns out that there's not just the Kingsman secret service in the world, but also the Statesman led by Champ. While the Kingsman operates within the fashion industry, the Statesman deals in the liquor business. The founders of both organizations once formed an alliance, pledging full support to each other in times of need. At this time, Eggsy discovers from Charlie's girlfriend's social media posts that she is about to attend a music festival. Champ immediately arranges for agents Whiskey and Eggsy to go undercover and gather intelligence. Disguised and blended in, they quickly locate their target at the music festival. Eggsy's unique and charming flirting techniques quickly catch the girl's attention. After spending a fiery day together, their relationship becomes extremely delicate. Seizing the opportunity of their alone time, Eggsy successfully plants a tracker back at the base. In an effort to help Harry Hart regain his memories, Eggsy brings in a puppy and simulates scenes from their past training sessions, forcibly stimulating Harry Hart's brain. Harry Hart experiences dizziness as fragments of memories flood his mind, scenes from the past flashing before his eyes until he fully recovers all his memories, returning as the ace agent he once was. Meanwhile, the President of the United States receives a video from Poppy, who claims to have released a virus. Anyone who comes into contact with drugs will develop a strange blue rash. Once the virus enters the brain, the patient becomes restless and eventually paralyzed, leading to death. And the only antidote is in her hands. As long as the president abolishes drug laws and agrees to legalize all types of drugs, she will immediately distribute the antidote via drones. Otherwise, the president will face countless casualties. The news quickly causes chaos nationwide, overwhelming the healthcare system. Initially expected to compromise, the president, for his own political future, intends to superficially agree to Poppy's proposal while secretly delaying. His aim is to let the afflicted drug addicts self-destruct, reducing the government's expenditure. This wicked plan is all caught by the federal agent's surveillance, leaving everyone present infuriated. At this moment, they overhear Charlie and his girlfriend talking on the phone. It turns out the woman accidentally got infected with the virus and is demanding the antidote from Charlie. In their conversation, they learn the location of Poppy's laboratory and immediately set out on a mission. Upon finding the building where the antidote is manufactured, the three split into two teams. Harry Hart takes out the enemies in the control room and seizes control of the cable car. Eggsy and Whiskey ride the cable car to the mountaintop, where they quickly find the entrance to the laboratory, pretending to be a merchant placing an order. Eggsy unexpectedly learns that Poppy's headquarters is in the jungles of Cambodia, but just then, Eggsy is spotted by Charlie nearby. He quickly grabs a bottle of antidote and hastily leaves the lab. As Charlie swiftly gives chase, the two manage to board the cable car heading downhill. However, in the next moment, the cable car suddenly loses control and begins to spin rapidly. It turns out Charlie has remotely taken over the system, setting the cable car to maximum speed, pressing Eggsy and Whiskey firmly against the glass with immense centrifugal force. As they are about to lose consciousness, Whiskey gives his all, using an electric whip to open a hole in the nearby glass and then snapping the cable, causing the cable car to plummet rapidly. Fortunately, due to the cable car's protection, they are unharmed. After narrowly escaping a descending tower, they speed towards a mountain resort. To prevent innocent casualties, Eggsy pushes Whiskey towards the hole and then opens his parachute. Finally, the cable car slows down just in time. The two descend from the mountain and hide in a small cabin. As Eggsy prepares to show Harry Hart the antidote, enemy pursuers suddenly appear in the distance. Whiskey shields Eggsy, but unfortunately, the antidote is knocked out of Eggsy's hand and falls to the ground. All their efforts gone to waste. In a fit of rage, Whiskey charges at the enemies, wielding two revolvers with extraordinary marksmanship, elegantly and precisely taking out the incoming enemies. But soon, enemy reinforcements arrive, surrounding the cabin with over 10 adversaries. In this life and death moment, Harry Hart unexpectedly shoots Whiskey in the head. Hearing the gunshot, the enemies unleash a barrage of gunfire, closing in on the cabin. Trapped behind the wall, with no way to move, Harry Hart pulls out a bottle of perfume bomb, activates the switch, and throws it towards the enemy. As the deafening explosion resounds, the enemies at the door turn into statues. It turns out that Harry Hart, through observation and intuition, deduced that Whiskey intentionally knocked over the antidote. However, lacking direct evidence, Eggsy finds it hard to believe. At the same time, Charlie, to prevent the antidote from falling into the wrong hands again, activates the laboratory's self-destruct mechanism, reducing the antidote and the lab to ashes. Meanwhile, due to the rapid spread of the virus, the government sets up numerous cages in sports arenas, detaining tens of thousands of infected individuals for containment purposes. After detailed planning, the trio of Eggsy, Harry Hart, and Merlin board a plane and fly overnight to Cambodia, fully equipped with suitable weapons, ready to take down Poppy's headquarters, distribute the antidote, and thwart the president's plan. Several hours later, Whiskey, who wakes up in the lab, learns of the trio's actions and immediately pilots a fighter jet to provide support. The next day, Using mine detectors to advance stealthily, the trio soon arrives at the entrance of Poppy's headquarters. However, just as they are about to act, Eggsy accidentally steps on a landmine. Merlin opens a box, taking out a bottle of freeze spray, temporarily freezing the mine's trigger, and then suddenly pushed Eggsy out of the way to take his place. Knowing that freezing the mine trigger won't be enough for all three of them to escape unscathed, in order to complete the mission quickly, Merlin sacrifices himself. He deliberately exposes his position, singing a majestic song, attracting all the guards at the gate and witnessing his friend's tragic death before eyes. With their anger reaching its peak, Eggsy and Harry Hart use bulletproof umbrellas as cover and engage in intense gunfire with the enemy at the gate. With their seamless cooperation, they quickly eliminate all threats. Seeing the situation turning dire, Poppy orders Charlie to take the control box and awakens a mechanical dog to deal with Harry Hart. Facing the relentless attacks of the mechanical dog, Harry Hart is soon forced to flee out of desperation. As the mechanical dog pursues him, Harry Hart rushes into a nearby plastic surgery clinic, lifted by a mechanical dog and landed on a recliner. With no way out, Harry Hart quickly comes up with a plan and tips over the gold smelting furnace, causing the mechanical dog to be instantly disabled in the molten gold. On the other hand, Eggsy, who went in pursuit, was attacked by Charlie. Empowered by the massive mechanical arm, Charlie quickly gained the upper hand, relentlessly beating Eggsy into submission. As Charlie picked up a bowling ball, intending to deliver a fatal blow to Eggsy, he was taken by surprise. Eggsy had secretly controlled the mechanical arm with his watch, rendering Charlie powerless and at his mercy. In the end, Eggsy decisively snapped Charlie's neck, offering closure to the countless comrades who had sacrificed their lives. Together, they stormed into the hall and injected Poppy with a reinforced version of the virus. With no other choice, Poppy surrendered the password and collapsed, breathing her last. However, as Eggsy and Harry Hart were entering the password to distribute the antidote, Harry Hart was suddenly ensnared by a whip around his neck. It turned out that Whiskey, as Harry Hart suspected, was deliberately obstructing their mission. Whiskey's wife had tragically died at the hands of drug dealers, leading him to support the president's plan wholeheartedly. Realizing the truth, Eggsy seized the opportunity and emitted a bright light with his watch. Harry Hart took advantage of the distraction to disarm Whiskey. Whiskey reacts by activating the whip. Fortunately, Harry Hart managed to escape at the last moment. With the whip in Whiskey's hands, he wreaked havoc wherever it struck. Harry Hart had no choice but to engage in close combat, first disarming Whiskey and then launching a fierce counterattack with Eggsy's assistance. Overwhelmed, Whiskey soon began to falter. Seizing the opportunity, Eggsy and Harry Hart teamed up to swiftly dispatch Whiskey. In the final moments of the movie, Eggsy entered the password to activate the system, and the antidote stored around the world was distributed to patients via drones one after another. Thus, the global crisis came to an end. Kingsman: The Golden Circle is the second installment in the Kingsman series. It maintains the style of the first film, blending lighthearted comedy with dazzling action scenes, and grossed over $400 million worldwide, receiving high praise from audiences and critics alike.